Hey everyone, Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler. Today we're going to actually go over the top 10 things I sold on eBay this month of October 2018. Once again, I'm reseller here on Steemit, Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler here on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, definitely go down there. Click the subscribe button, bells for notifications at any time during this video. Please click the like button if you enjoy the content. So we're going to go over the top 10 things that I sold in October. There's going to be some in-depth analysis per item. So if you're not into that, definitely tune away. But if you want to hear some fun little stories and maybe what I paid for them and a little bit of the history behind some of these things, this is the right show for you. If you don't have the time, feel free to click the 2x button down below by the gear. You can actually speed through this whole thing. I might sound like Alvin and the Chickmunks, but you can get through the content a lot faster. So let's not waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. Today we have this 2008 East-West Bank Terracotta figure. I took a best offer for about 180 something for this. I paid about $6 for this. It was a terracotta kind of warrior inside this kind of shadow boxy type thing. It was really cool. It was very unique, and I went with my gut with this. And for $6, you know, you can't go wrong. I purchased kind of weird statues a couple years ago, and those ended up selling for $5,000. And I should probably do a video about that at some point. If you want to see a video about that, click the like button. If we get more than 15 likes, I'll actually go and make that video this week. So definitely do that. But anyways, this sold. This was a kind of a pain in the ass to ship. But it took about 20 minutes to get this packed up. There's a whole other process in packing up stuff like this. And luckily it got to the person in mint condition. They left feedback. They loved it. And my only worry was that little figure that's in there. It's kind of like stone. I was like hoping it didn't like come loose during shipping. But when I looked at it, it was built like a trophy where there's a screw that goes up through the top of it. So it's secured in there really well. But anyways, this is one of those things for $6. I went with my gut. This shipped UPS since it was a little bit on the heavier side. And I did research on this. I couldn't find anything, but I did find out that, you know, they had the private exhibition. And so I definitely knew about that, but I couldn't find anything about this. So that's that. Next up, we have this Marvel Import War Machine. What this is basically, I think it's a 1/12 scale figure. And what it is, it's really cool. It's a highly detailed import from Japan. Now I paid $50 for this. I paid up. I had to actually buy two of them for $100. Not two of these specific things, but this and another item. And I kind of bit the bullet on the other one, and actually we'll get to that in a little bit down the ways in this video. But anyways, this sold for $199 plus $17.99 shipping. This sold pretty fast after I listed it, maybe a couple days. And so definitely look out for weird kind of model figures, especially larger ones. Hot Toys is a really good one if you can get them cheap enough. But like I said, I paid $50 for this and sold for $199 plus $17.99 shipping. This actually, I think this fit in a large flat rate box. So this was actually a pretty good deal. And this is the only reason why I paid $100 for these two figures, is because I knew I was going to get some good money for this one. Next up, we have this Sawyers Viewmaster estate sale collection. I actually had this listed at $200 for like a month and a half. I paid $20 for this huge collection of Viewmaster stuff at a thrift shop, and it was a really good deal. I didn't realize that this is actually the very first viewfinder, to my knowledge, this thing ever made. This is old. This is from like 1920s. I did some research on this. I mean, it still even worked. I mean, it wasn't that great, like the little plunger thing, the little trigger on top. It works, but it's very archaic, and I had to reload it and fix it sometimes. But, you know, these things weren't meant to, you know, last over 100 years. But anyways, this thing actually sells alone. If you can find one with mint condition, and these little eye cup things, they actually come out really easily. So usually when you find these, they're going to be missing those. But I could have sold this alone for like $80 by itself. Anyways, this sold for $124.99 plus $29.99 shipping to ship UPS, because it was a little bit on the heavier side. And definitely look out for old Viewmaster stuff. This had, you know, instructions. This actually celluloid, where is it? This thing was actually really cool. The top was in mint condition. I could have probably sold this top for like $25 just for the top alone, because the box, if we can see, the box was cracked. This little case is very hard to find in mint condition. So if you find those, these can go for $100 if you can find one in mint condition. The top alone was like brand new, pristine, no chips, no cracks. I should have just sold the top by itself. I should have actually parted this out, to be honest. And I did a little bit because I looked up, I sat for a couple hours one night and I looked up every single one of these reels, and you know, found a couple of them that were actually worth pretty good money, so I pulled those out. But I should have sold the viewfinder and like the top of that box by themselves, and then sold the rest as a lot. I still probably would have made maybe, you know, another $50 on top of it. Speaking of the stuff that I pulled out of there, this was another kind of lot of travel reels. And what was cool about these ones, these are probably from the 60s or the 70s. I think some of these were from the 50s. Some of them actually came with coins of origin from where they came from. Like as you see here, this Peruvian one, Peru, came with a coin and a stamp. And so it actually had its things in there. So these were really cool. These sell for about between $10 and $30 a piece. I ended up lotting them all together. This sold for $89.99 plus $5.99 shipping. The cost on this, if you break it down, I paid $20 for that huge collection. So it's hard to determine what the cost was. If I broke it up, it's pennies on the dollar. So I might have got all these reels for less than 25 cents, less than 50 cents. So this is actually a really good ROI. So definitely look out for Viewmaster. When you see Sawyers, people don't know this name, Sawyers. When you see Sawyers on anything that's a Viewmaster, that means it's a lot older than 80s or 70s. I think Sawyers ran into the 60s. I'm not completely sure. As a matter of fact, I should probably do a Know Your Stuff video on Viewmaster, because there's a lot to learn with Viewmasters. People that grew up in my generation from the 80s just remember the old red ones, you know, that had like E.T. and Indiana Jones and Disneyland things. Viewmasters go all the way back to the teens, 1920, 1930, and all the way through. And Sawyers was the main company that was producing these things. Next up, we have this New York ComicCon Funko Pop. This was a custom I made. This is kind of goes under the private label. I made 5 of these for Tenacious Toys. For some of you might know that I sell art and things like that. I call it private label because that's the only thing a lot of resellers can understand. Like, what is this? It's something that I made that was a limited edition for the convention. Sometimes my convention pieces actually sell for a lot more than they're charged. So, you know, there's a lot of collectors that buy my work and then resell it. This one happened to be the only one that didn't sell, so it was sent back to me. I ended up putting it on eBay for $89.99. I took a best offer for $70 plus shipping on this, and it went to a collector. So, you know, there's so many different ways to make money on eBay. And luckily, you know, I've been doing art for over 20 years, if not longer, my whole life pretty much. So I'm able to do some cool stuff like this. Next up, we have this Rafiki Lion King Baboon plush stuffed animal, 14 inches. We talked about this before. This was found at a thrift shop for about, I don't want to say I paid maybe $3 to $4 for this. I'm not exactly sure. It wasn't that much. But what really got me was it had its tags. It was in pretty much a mint condition. And it was a must pick up. When I scanned this barcode, I think it came up on Amazon and it was going for like $100 or something ridiculous. So definitely use your scanners if you can scan barcodes. That can tell you a lot. Of course, look on eBay, because the difference between eBay and Amazon sometimes is a tremendous amount. As a matter of fact, for those that have the time and are savvy enough, there's some retail arbitrage that could be, or online arbitrage that could be done. If you can buy stuff cheap on eBay and put it on Amazon. There's a whole market, and I should probably do some videos on that. You know what? I don't even have the time. But anyways, I'm letting you guys know that that's a thing, and you can definitely make some side income just doing online arbitrage from eBay to Amazon, and vice versa, by the way. Next up, we have this 1000 Toys TOA Heavy Industry Synthetic Human. This is like a 1/12 scale. This is part of that other thing that I was talking about. I paid $50 for this. I paid up for this just to get that other piece. And this sold for $64.99 plus $5.99 shipping. And so look out for this kind of stuff. What's cool about these kind of things is, where's the barcode? There's a barcode on this somewhere. And, you know, if you want to know how much something goes for, you can just scan it even on eBay. There's a little, if you use your phone, there's a little camera icon up there, and you can just click that and scan barcodes and things like that. Next up, we have this Revo sunglasses. These are actually from the 90s. I paid $2 for these, and they sold for $89.99 plus $3.99 shipping. Actually, I think I might have took a best offer for less on this, but anyways, I still made a pretty good amount of money for my $2 investment. Some people might see these glasses and think they're garbage, but Revo is actually a pretty good, I think it's Italian. I'm not completely sure. Even had some wear and things like that. There was even chewing, like someone chewed a little bit on the things, and that was fully disclosed in the description. So Revo is definitely a bolo to be looking out for, especially if they're in good condition. This one actually had the case and the paperwork, and this was from the 90s, and there's a lot of 90s fashion things that are just so hot right now, and I don't know why. I tried these on, and I looked ridiculous in these things. But anyways, Revo is definitely a thing to look out for. So once again, I paid $2 for this. I think I took a best offer for $60 or $70 for this, which is still a pretty good ROI considering, you know, it was a $2 purchase. So definitely look out for this product. Next up, we have this 2016 street art Sabo Donald Trump Rogue One. I collect a lot of street art. I've been collecting street art since maybe 2002. Something around there, and I've been collecting, you know, all kinds of weird stuff even before that, so I know a pretty good amount about street art. Sometimes I'll pick some street art up for pretty cheap. This one actually I ended up taking a best offer for, I want to say I took a best offer for like 60 something on this, and I got this for way cheap. I don't remember what I paid for this poster, and it was signed, and I think I might have paid like $20 or something like that, so it was a pretty good ROI. And like I said, you know, I'll buy some street art if I think, you know, I can see some potential down the road. And, you know, usually I just sock it away and pull it out at a later date when, you know, these things are long sold. As a matter of fact, I think one of the best flips I ever did was when Shepard Fairey did those Obama Hope posters. I made literally thousands of dollars on those for just buying them because I thought they were cool. And then years later, they ended up being worth a tremendous amount of money. And you can't even find those ones that I sold. I would probably make triple my money now if I was to sell those. If I wish I kept those, to be honest. But even back in those days, I made a pretty good amount of money on street art posters. And you support artists this way too. I really like that. And you know, whatever you think about Trump or your political views or anything like that, there's pretty good money in political memorabilia and things like that. Next up, we have this Universal Sounds Effects Library. This is actually probably something I should have kept. There was 5 CDs, and actually there was more to this set. I think I took a picture of the other thing. Yeah, there was a couple of other random CDs in here, but these are all sound effects from Universal Studios, the company, and there were so many, like hundreds of sound effects on here, and I'm sure someone is going to benefit from this. As a matter of fact, I should probably just downloaded all these before I shipped it out, because there was a tremendous amount of sound effects that would be great for any kind of production, video production value, even audio production value. Anyways, I paid like $5 for this whole box set at a thrift shop. I looked these up when I was there, and I was kind of blown away to see, like, you know, they were going for like, you know, $50, $60, $70, $80. They're pretty rare. You're probably never going to find these, but I'm just showing you guys, you know, some of the odd CDs. Definitely look them up. I've made hundreds of dollars on sealed CDs, box sets like this that you thought like, oh, okay, they're nothing, you know, but you look them up and they're the oddest things. And like I said, I sold one thing this year for like $200, $300. I forget how much it was. It was a lot, and it was something I paid $5 for at a thrift shop. So definitely look up and scan everything that you can see that's sealed. This one hasn't to be sealed, but I still looked it up because I was curious. Next up, we have this, I don't even know how to pronounce this, Kohinoor Rapido Graph Lot. These are actually not drafting pens, but these are actually pretty, I think they're artist kind of pens. And it was a whole set. They were used. This Rapido graph from this company, Kohinoor. I don't even know how to say that. I think it's German. But anyways, if you see that, definitely look them up. Some of these vintage pens go for a lot of money. These are actually used. And I think I took a best offer for like 50 something on this, and like I said, well, I didn't say it, but I think I paid $5 for this whole thing at a thrift shop. I saw them and just lot them together and asked them if they would take $5 for it, because I actually looked at this bottom setup right here, and that bottom set alone was going for like $30 or $40 used. If you can find any of this stuff brand new, that goes for a pretty good amount of money too. So definitely look out for this brands. Always look up weird art supplies. I mean, you can tell if I've been doing this for a long time and I'm an artist, and so I know quality when I see it. And when I saw these, I knew that these were high quality pins. You fill them up with ink yourself. And they have different points and different sizes. And when I saw these, I was like, oh, these got to be worth something. And sure enough, they were vintage. And they were. I think these were from the 80s or the late 70s, but I'm not completely sure. I know this calligraphy pin over here was from the 70s, and so there's that. Once again, I am Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler. If you enjoyed this video, definitely click the like button. I really appreciate your guys' time. If you made it all through the video, please let me know in the comments below. And I really appreciate it. This is the first show we've done of this, so every month at the end, I'm going to go through the top 10. We actually went through 11, but we're going to go through the top 10 things I sold in the month, and I thought that would be pretty cool little recap and things like that, because throughout the month, I'm selling a bunch of things for $10, $12, nothing exciting, but at the end of the month, we can see what some of the big sales were and things like that, and hopefully this will catch on and you guys will really enjoy this new programming. Anyways, I'm Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler, reseller on Steemit. If you're not on Steemit, definitely go and check me out on Steemit. I'm making money via cryptocurrency doing blogging and stuff. If you're wasting your time on Facebook and Instagram, you're not getting paid for that. If you're monetizing that stuff and making money off those Facebook, Twitter, good for you. If you're looking for another avenue to make money, definitely check out Steemit and DTube. I probably made about $1,000 this month on DTube videos alone. So there's that. Anyways, I'm Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler, and we'll see you next time. Take care.